Welcome, Collective, to another great episode of Brews and Builds. And this episode could not have been done except by our amazing patrons. Whether you're part of the Collective, Squeeze Choir, BigTucks, MrCombo, Storm Count, it doesn't matter. We love you guys and thank you for the support.
Oh, here we are.
Hey guys, welcome to episode 123 of CMD
Wow, we're
Towers
figuring it
Brews and
out.
Builds. I'm MrCombo number 5, and my fellow host is having way too much fun with our new audio recording software,
Yes.
BigTuck.
Our new audio recording software, our new main sponsor of the channel, our replacements, our new way of life. I am here. We are talking about Redacted until they start paying us.
Well, guys, if you would like to help us out financially with our community, with us getting new products to make stuff better for you guys, head over to our Patreon, patreon.com/CMDTower. We do have 4 different tiers. Starts at just $1 a month on up. You get a lot of different value with it. The biggest one that I wanted to highlight is no matter what tier you sign up for, if you've ever wanted a platform for yourself to be able to speak, give thoughts on cards or mechanics, we're starting the Collective Diagnosis. This is something that's open to every tier of our Patreon. Every 3 months, we're going to poll 10 of our community members about a topic and let you guys record your own audio, write a little paragraph about how you feel, and then me and Tuck are going to talk about it, give you our thoughts and feelings, and kind of make it a great community episode. And if you're a part of our top tier, every 3 months, you're going to be on Brews and Builds. So we're going to have you here in the amazing Zencaster to, do anything we can to do weird sound effects like this, that we are going to put out there. So it's a great community. Definitely should join. And I'll say this, the Discord's been getting a lot more rambunctious over the last few weeks.
I feel like there's...
one could say it's preview season.
It's it's unfortunate that I had to drop from Brews and Build or from Action 4 this year for the foreseeable future. But one thing one pro of that is I'm actually excited about spoilers. So we don't need to get into that here, but anyway.
Well, another benefit of being a part of our patron community is our referral program. So if you're an existing patron and you recommend someone to join, we'll end up sending you something as a thank you. Depending on what tier, it could kind of depend on what we end up sending out. But grow the collective through your friends and family. Guilt them. It works.
It always works.
Now, if you'd like to pick up some of our great merchandise, head over to our store, cmdtower.com/merch. We do have our foil playmat. And yes, my basement is filled with CMD Tower sweaters.
Oh,
please,
they're here.
They're here. Go buy them for the love of Christ. Apparently 70 sweaters weighs 100 pounds and takes up 1/2 of my basement.
Oh my God, really?
Yes, it
just
does.
Like 2 giant boxes?
Well, it was until I had to separate them for sizes. So now it's like the ottoman's completely covered. Half of the couch is covered. I got one, like the extra large sweater stack is like toppling over because there's so many.
That's incredible.
Now, this episode, is brought to you by Zencaster, but also our amazing editor at _Tcoats. Tyler does do the video and audio for this Brews and Builds episode. So definitely give him a little thank you, a little shout out for putting together this great stuff for you. And of course, the free way is just share the content you're watching and or listening to, because every little bit of interaction from the collective does help. So Brews and Builds is our deck tech series. Since we conquered the path to 32, tackled tons of EDH themes, we're going to be discussing, or rather, theory crafting a new deck that doesn't even exist yet. Each month will consist of new decks, and we correlate how these decks are constructed similar to how beer is brewed. So we broke it down into 4 different categories. How does your board interact with everyone else? We call that HOPS.
Yes, and hops give the beer its patented bitterness and herbal floral flavors to go in a variety of strands and help distinguish subcategories like this Floorclaw Westbrook Brewing Triple IPA that I'll be enjoying here shortly and passing out because it's 10%. Our hop choices help clear and interact with the board so your deck can ultimately do what it wants.
So without further ado, let's get brewing. Today, we're talking only creatures, no problem. Yes, I should have known Alter the Bird can't go in the deck because it's literally 3 sentences below my show notes. We're talking Nikara, Lair Scavenger, Yannik Scavenging Sentinel, and Umori the Collector. let's go ahead and head over to our board state and hot profile discussion. And I'm going to kick this off with a card from M21. It's a common. You can get it for 4 pennies.
4 pennies.
Only time it's ever been printed, and he's the bestest boy. This is going to take advantage. I tried to do this with your notes. You said white is, removal and this. Right. And so I tried to make sure all my cards specifically were those colors and there was no bleed over. So one of the most difficult things with creatures, and we talked about this earlier, where being on a budget, is it hard to build all creatures? Well, you need the utility. So Rambunctious Mutt will get you there. 3 colorless, white, creature Doge. It's a 3/4. When it ETBs, destroy target artifact or enchantment an opponent controls.
Ooh.
So here's a few things I like about it. It's 3 power, so they get you 3 counters when you exile them. And when he ETBs, it's not a May effect, which usually could be bad, but it says opponent controls. That's the difference between, I believe is it Harmonic Sliver or Aura Shards? One of them's not a May effect.
I think Aura Shards is not. No. Harmonic Sliver. Yes, because the Aura Shards has a May, Harmonic does not.
Okay, so this would be like perfect, like an Aura Shards. Harmonic sucks because I've been in my Sliver deck doing a Harmonic Sliver or doing Sliver stuff with tokens, and it's like, my opponents have no more artifacts or enchantments. Now I got to start blowing up my stuff.
Right.
So this kind of gets you out of that, and 5 mana. When you're on budget, and especially at $50, you're going to be a higher curve. So. Sure.
I agree, and I do like the fact that belly needs to be rubbed ASAP.
Oh yeah,
in the art thing, so that's good. I like that. I think the only thing I'm a little worried about is the mana cost to it. But again, if you're trying to play a budget, this could, and that if you look comparative to like Reclamation Sage or something along those lines, if that card's 90 cents and this does the exact same thing for 2 mana more, these are the sort of restrictions you have to get with the $50 budget, right?
Well, and so that's a good point. So to let you know, Tuck, there is a card out there. I think it's like 2 and a white, and it's a creature, and I think it's like a 1/1 or a 1/2 that kind of does a similar effect. But I think it's you may destroy target artifact or enchantment, just period. The reason I actually went with this instead is because of the higher power and toughness. I figured you probably, as much as you need dorks to get out early and establish, I think you just need that for ramp. Like, I just need to get enough dorks out there to get me mana. So then everything else will draw me cards, do removal, all of that. So I think your early game isn't like so much like how we normally, it's like, you got to get your mana rocks out and do this and do that and do that. You're going to be doing a lot of pass play, go. Right. So I was okay with the extra 2.
Yeah. I'm here for it. And like, again, I think for what'd you say it was? 9 cents? Sure. Right?
Yeah. Something.
Put it in a proper deck in 10 years or whatever,
Yeah. All right, Tuck, give us your first hop.
So I think I put this one in as a hop, but it kind of could fill a few different utilities. It's fresh off of the recent set, Innistrad Crimson Vow, which is funny because there's a new set coming out already. So this one's already going to be the older set. So it's Tauren's Fist of the Angels. So it's a colorless, a green and a white for a 2/2 legendary creature, human cleric. It comes in for about 42 cents. So it has training. Whenever this creature attacks with another creature that has greater power, put a 1/1 counter on this creature, right? So I think training is going to be really key in this deck. I think it's a really good ability for this deck. A lot of those cards are just really expensive. But more importantly, whenever you cast a creature spell, create a 1/1 green and white human soldier creature token with training as well. Nice. So that's why I put this more, because this could potentially be a yeast, I suppose. It could kind of be a grain because you're generating things that will get sacrificed and draw you cards. But for me, I just look at this a way just to continue to gum up the board, right? If you get 3 1/1 tokens out there, if you get to swing in with them and they get a 1/1 counter on it, great. And then when it board wipes, you can draw a card with the other commander. I'm really focused on Yannik right now for some reason. So it just seems like a very efficient kind of value engine, right? I look at it as like this deck's Tal'Ren the Sky Summoner. It's going to pay off just for playing the deck, and it also fits in with the strategy of what we're trying to do.
Yeah, I'm good with it. I mean, we talked about, 38 to 40 lands, so that means you're going to have 60 to 62 creatures in the deck. Actually, sorry, 61 to 63 creatures in the deck. So, yeah, it makes sense. Yep. And I think stuff like this is perfect in a yeast section because this does kind of build you up a little wall, little by little. and then it's like, cool, it's going to be harder to go at them. But then you head to that late game with the yeast, and it's like, okay, I swing with 15 of these 1/1s, which are very innocuous, but it's like, oh, by the way, they have training. Did you forget?
Sure.
Counters and triggers and all of this stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. So I hope it'll make it to the end game, but I think this is going to be. I feel like people are going to suss out that this card's probably pretty strong and get rid of it pretty quickly.
Well, my next hop card is pretty cute. It's only been printed once in Modern Horizons 2.
Your favorite?
It's a cool penny. We're talking Loathsome Curator. 4 colorless black. It's a 5/4 creature Gorgon wizard with exploit.
Oh.
So when it ATBs, you may sack a creature, and it has menace. When it exploits a creature, destroy target creature you don't control with mana value 3 or less. So I look at this card as you wanted some semblance of like a graveyard package.
Sure.
So exploit's perfect for that, but usually exploit's like very expensive card because you're tutoring when you exploit.
Right.
So it's like, okay, well, how can we do this? You need spot removal. I know it's not white, but I kind of look at this. Budget is going to be higher CMC at your top end, but that low CMC stuff is what's going to get their deck to function. And I would believe budget decks shut down when their early creatures or board state gets affected because it takes so much longer to get going.
Right.
That if you do her 2-3 times in a game, you might be able to shut out one player from even playing.
Yeah, and like you can't afford chromatic lanterns, arcane signets is kind of pushing.
You could afford murder, but you had to do the dumb restriction.
Oh, you were just waiting in the wings, so you could just I could build one of these things. We're like, haha, it is good. Yeah, so I like this a lot. I think that you're gonna see a lot of Land of War elves, a lot of Night of the Wake orchids, those sort of things, more so than your soul rings and arcane signets and talismans and all that stuff. So being able to cripple someone out. And I love 5/4 is so good to sacrifice to Yannik. I'm here for it.
The cool thing is not even sacrifice.
Yeah,
it's not even sacrifice. It's just blink. That's 5 counters. It comes back. I kill something else. Hey, you just talked about your training dude. Those 1/1 soldiers. That's perfect for exploit.
Exactly right. And I think there's going to be some more counters in it. I like it. These ones are, if the first ones are all S tiers. Your grades are all S tiers, no questions asked. These are like A, all A's across.
Don't worry, my last one is going to make you super, super horny. But before we get there, what is your second hop?
So I talked about trying to shovel in as many mechanics as I could possibly. I really wanted to find.
Did you get banding?
I did not get banding, unfortunately. I know. Sidar of Kondo or whatever is too expensive. But that being said, I really wanted to get in the day-night cycle as well. I don't think there's going to be room for that because that's too sweaty. But what do creatures do a really good job of giving you?
Anxiety?
Yes, but Monarch. And more importantly, becoming the Monarch. So Dawnglade Regent, a card that I think is not good, is 5 colors, double green for an 8/8 creature elk, relevant creature type. When it enters the battlefield, become the Monarch. That would be good enough for me, to be honest with you. Like, if it was just an 8/8 for 7 that gave you the Monarch, it's fantastic. But as long as you're the Monarch, permanents you control have hexproof. This one's about 35 cents. So here's what I like about it, right? I'm going to have a wall of creatures. People aren't going to be punching through to get that Monarch back unless they're really wanting to. So I feel like the Monarch ability is going to be something that's going to stick around for me for a while. But more importantly is the hexproof thing, right? I think this deck is just going to be ripe for spot removals, for, target 4 creatures, destroy them, that sort of stuff. And having your stuff have hexproof, I think is going to really be able to survive in that mid to late game, and keep your board around as long as you can.
Oh, yeah.
7 mana is a lot, especially when you don't have rampant growths of the world and that sort of thing. But I'm convinced that this, and also it's an 8/8. So there you go. It plays into Yannik as well.
So it's fine. The 7 with no way to reduce it, because you'll see a little bit of my trickery in the yeast package. That's the only thing I don't like about the card, because just to be honest, having them getting Monarch into play and then having hexproof while you have it, I don't know if that's worth 7 mana for an 8/8 with no evasion. If it at least had trample, or I'd be like, okay, something. Or when you're the Monarch, permanent you control have hexproof and Dawnglade Regent has trample. Even that would be fine.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
So, or when you don't have the Monarch, it has trample, just
Oh,
something to give
yeah.
it. Like that would be cool. So I could actually see this being a card tuck. I know you're going to put it in, but I could see after maybe playing it a couple times,
it's
you're like, okay, you're too expensive
it's
for
already
what you do.
it's already in the pile. It's already in the pile.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, are you ready?
I'm ready. I'm here and I'm ready for it.
Okay. We are talking Pentarch Paladin. So this card was first printed and only printed in Time Spiral. It's $1.04. 2 colorless, white, creature, human, knight, rare, 3/3. It has
Oh.
flanking, so whenever a creature without flanking blocks this creature, it's going to get -1 until end of turn. That's not really why we want it. As Pentarch Paladin comes into play, choose a color. White, tap. Destroy target permanent
Oh
of the
god.
chosen color. So I look
Yeah.
at this as a way that, based at where you're at in the game, I need to blink Pentarch and pick blue because there's Omniscience out.
Right.
Or, someone got white and I don't like Smothering Tithe. Let me get that out. Yes, those are cards that are outside of budget, but you guys get what I'm trying to
Yeah,
say.
right.
And when you're going this creature only, having a creature in your deck that can literally get rid of any permanent is amazing.
Is huge, yeah. And I think the closest analogy to this one would be like acidic slime, right? And
Mhm.
I think it costs the same for a limitation that shouldn't really matter, right?
Yeah.
I feel like because usually what happens in budget, and MrCombo, correct me if I'm wrong, is like one person gets lucky and then they get the right draw or hit the right
Yep.
opening hand, and everyone else is just scrambling to catch up, right?
Yep.
So I feel like in these budget builds, there's going to be you'll have the right target, right?
Yeah.
You'll when you draw this card, you'll say, I don't even need to look at the board. Black,
Yep.
blue, whatever it might be, right?
Mhm.
And the dollar is a little on the higher side.
Yep.
But having this and Blood Gift Demon are both repeatable, right?
Oh, yeah.
And I think that's worth the extra money, just so that you're like, it's not a one-time effect. I don't have to worry about blinking it. If I do, it's great. And it's a 3/3. Yeah, I like this. I like this one a lot. I like this one.
Yeah.
This is an S tier for sure.
You could almost kind of look at your list, because I know you made the comment like Shesra could definitely knock out a bunch of cards you already have in the pile. Her
Yep.
being 6 cents, you could be like, okay, who's 80 cents? Oh, that gets me 76 cents back.
Oh,
Okay,
right.
boom, apply that to Pentarch. Oh, now you're just a 30-cent card, really, at the end of the day.
Right.
Perfect. I think
Yeah.
that might be some of what you do, even with Blood Gift Demon. Like, okay, you're a $1.40. What could I do that's 90 cents? Maybe get away with a 20-cent card, because that gives me 70 cents back to the budget.
Right. No, I'm here for it.
All right, Tuck, give us your last one. What's your final hop?
I can't believe that this card is as cheap as it is, because it's an all-star commander. It's an all-star card, and I just can't believe it's 79 cents. But Brina the Demogorg, what is this? What is that tech? What is that?
Because it's a precon, that's why.
Yeah, right. But like, what
Yeah.
is this? What does Brina do for this deck that any other card can? Right? It's insane. So I put it as a hops mostly for the second ability. But for those who don't know, for the 4 people that just started playing in the last month and haven't already seen 10 of these decks out in the wild, Brina the Demogorg is a colorless and Orzhov that's a white and a black for a 1/3 legendary creature, bird warlock. It's a mythic, and it has flying. Whenever a player attacks, I always have to reread this like 4 times. Whenever a player attacks one of your opponents, if that opponent has more life than another opponent, that attacking player draws a card, and you put 2 1/1 counters on a creature you control. This card's just so busted, right? Like, it encourages
So
people.
good.
I can't run Ghostly Prisons of the World, A, because they're out of budget, and B, because they're not creatures. I can't even run the creature ones, because even those are expensive, I think. And so this is a huge combat deterrent. I think a lot of people usually view the 1/1 counters as like, okay, now we're Voltron town, or it's usually not the main thing, but here
Sure.
that is going to facilitate everything else that this deck is trying to do as well. Drawing a card, I have not a ton of ways to do that besides a Monarch, so that's even good. It's just, this card is so busted.
This card is better than Propaganda in this build, because think about it. We're talking budget. That means it's going to be harder to get resources. You playing this literally gives your opponents, attack someone with more life than someone else, you get a card. I am
Oh,
giving you
yeah.
resources. So
Right.
this becomes the best politics card you could possibly do for a budget deck because people are going to be desperate to draw cards.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, guys, that's going to wrap up the HOPS section.